What is up, everybody? Welcome to the EdddyLive podcast, episode number 274. I'm here with Sandra Torres. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure, of course. We got to have that Mexican power all the time, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, gotta have it. Gotta have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I mean, tell me a little bit about, I've got so many questions for you. I don't even know where to start, but let's start a little bit with the beginning.
Okay.
Right? Houston,
Yes.
Mexican's parents, right?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that before we get deep.
Goodness gracious. The beginning.
The beginning.
I am the eldest of three children to three Mexican immigrant parents.
Okay.
So that meant that I had a lot of responsibilities.
I bet.
And
Just get this a little closer.
Yeah,
to you.
yeah,
You're good, you're
no
good, you're
problem.
good, you're good, you're good. Keep
Lots
going.
of expectations and to having to watch out for my younger siblings, and then also making sure that, I'm not only trying to be this kid, but I'm also at the same time, I'm like a third parent.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
I'm the one who's translating for my parents for all these government documents. At the age of 7, I won't forget getting a letter from the IRS, and they're like,
Oh my God.
What's going on? What's it say? I'm like, I don't know. I don't have the vocabulary for that.
That's so good.
We'll never forget the words. Then what do we send you to school for?
Oh my gosh,
I know.
that's so Mexican. I love it.
Very Mexican. So I
Yeah.
learned, okay, I got to do better. So I le eché duro in school.
Yeah.
And worked really hard to get into a really good college because I knew they couldn't afford it. And I managed to get a scholarship to a really good historically all women's college in Philadelphia,
Okay. Wow.
Pennsylvania. Yeah.
That's cool.
So from Houston to Pennsylvania, that was a huge change for all of us.
Okay.
First time we all went together, my dad said, so what if I just get a job here and we all move here together?
Nice.
Yeah. But 4 years, and I did it all for them. The day I graduated was a very bittersweet moment.
Sure.
Because it all came to an end. I do have to say, leaving the house, while I would have loved to have stayed in Houston, it allowed me to grow more as an adult than I would have
Sure.
just staying at home, right?
Sure.
And then a little tidbit that I did as an homage to my mother, who didn't get the opportunity to go to college because she didn't have the money for it.
Yeah.
I made sure to add her last name to my diploma,
Oh, that's cool.
right? Because in Mexico, you have 2 last names.
Of course.
And
You got like 7 names, right? Yeah,
Right.
that's Mexican way. Yeah.
I
Love
was
it.
a very basic Mexican with just my name and my dad's last name.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Oh my
I don't have a
gosh.
middle name. My dad hates middle names.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I know.
Okay. That's
I know.
awesome.
Very different.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what? My mom worked just as hard to get me here. Her name deserves to be on this
Beautiful.
diploma. So I put her on there.
Oh my gosh. That's so, you're the oldest of 3,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And you were saying that's kind of like being the third parent.
Yeah.
So I'm in the middle of 3, and I
my.
have an older sister.
Uh-huh.
So I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
You being bossed around by my sister a lot. I'd be like, "You're not mom." She's like, "Hey, I'm basically mom when you're not. I'm basically mom when
When she's not here.
she's not here." Yeah.
Dang.
So funny. My gosh. Yeah.
Absolutely. Man, I'd like to admit that I wasn't bossy, but I have to.
Oh,
I
I'm
was
sure.
very- I'm
I don't.
very
On next topic. No. That's really cool. So where in Mexico is your family from?
My family is from a little city called Rio Verde in San Luis Potosí, Mexico.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it's really rare to get both parents from the same place.
Sure. Yeah,
Most
yeah,
of
yeah.
them are like, oh, I'm from Veracruz, I'm from Jalisco.
Yeah,
Both
yeah,
of my
yeah.
parents were one mountain apart from each other.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
They met by chance at my uncle's wedding.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
Very cool.
My dad was born in Monterrey, and my mom was in Chihuahua.
Wow.
And then their families moved to Guadalajara, and they kind of grew up there, and then they met there. So yeah, I know you're.
Incredible.
It's crazy. That's so
Yeah.
cool. I love that. Yeah.
Very.
So obviously Mexican upbringing, very cool. I have to say I'm very biased, but it's probably the best. I'm not going to
so
lie
too.
about that.
I do too.
And so obviously, you went to school, you did all that good stuff. So tell me a little bit about, fill us in with, going from school
Yeah.
to ending up in Taiwan.
Ooh, okay.
That's a lot. That's a lot. I
There's
know.
quite a bit of a gap.
Sure.
I'll try
So
to fill it in.
Fill in a little bit if you can.
So on my last year of college, it's time for job hunting.
Sure.
So I'm like, okay, I need to make sure I have a job because I'm not going to go back home and face everyone who didn't think I'd be able to make it, that I don't have
Mexicans
an answer plan.
Mexicans are direct.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was the first to even leave the city of Houston and my family to go to school.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, all of them stayed in
Smart
Houston.
one.
I didn't just
Nice.
leave the city; I left the state. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
I even
okay.
went abroad, and I did things that my other cousins didn't do. So I needed to make sure I had a plan. So, funny enough, my old high school reached out. They're like, "Hey, so like you were an awesome kid, and
Yeah.
we know you're looking for a job." At this point, I've realized that teaching is the profession I want to do.
Gotcha.
And so they said, "Would you like a job at your school?" And I was like, "Cool. When's the interview?" They're like, "What do you mean? You just had the interview?" And I was like,
Wow.
wow,
Wow. Okay. Because so obviously you were a good student
yeah." I
and
will
a good
admit
kid
that.
with a good attitude and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, I
And
mean,
you're like, that's very rare.
very. I was living under my mother's philosophy, "Calladita te ves más bonita," so I didn't fight out loud.
Oh man.
But now I'm
I love
learning
it.
to speak out loud a little more.
Okay. Oh, I understand, man. So obviously, like I was saying, I have my older sister and my parents are both Mexican. So it's funny because in Canada, it's not like the States. There's like no Mexicans when I grew up. There was just us. So small town, a lot of Portuguese for some reason. And so everyone thought we were Portuguese.
No.
And we're like, no, we're not Portuguese. We're Mexican. And I would speak Spanish. And the old Portuguese ladies would be like, oh, your Portuguese is it's a little bit funny. And I'm like, it's not Portuguese, you know? And so basically, there was not very many Latino families, but
Right.
they were all very close. And when there was a party, somebody's birthday, everybody got together and had a good time. So it was good.
Yeah.
And again, because not that many people spoke Spanish, my mom kind of grew up, talking shit a lot, right? And because no one understands, right?
Right.
So I remember we were out, at like a Kmart or something, looking at something, and my mom was talking shit to my sister about some lady's outfit, right? It's
Yeah.
totally Mexican style,
Absolutely.
right? And then the lady comes over, and she looked like totally white, but I can't remember where she was from, but she spoke Spanish, right? And then she's just like, oh, you're not the only ones that speak Spanish, so you have to be careful who you talk about. And she said that like right to my mom, and my mom's like, fuck you gonna do about it? And I'm just like, my mom's like Nate Diaz, basically. So I was like, okay, basically.
Gave
It was
no
there. I'm
fucks.
just like, okay. It
Yeah.
was so funny. Growing with a mom like that who was very like passionate and like extroverted and super outgoing and like loved everybody.
Yeah.
And having my dad, also who was Mexican,
Yeah.
but very like super quiet, doesn't want to talk to anybody, kind of smokes weed, just goes to work, does pays the bills or whatever, but doesn't talk much. He
Yeah.
doesn't really hang out much. So it was kind of crazy how my dad and my mom were like so opposite, like super introvert and like super extrovert. It's crazy. It's crazy. My parents are crazy. Yeah.
Dynamic.
Yeah. What? Tell me a little bit about your parents before we go on.
Let's see. Oh gosh.
Yeah. Both extroverted. Like Mexicans are usually like, hey.
Usually, right?
Yeah.
But I think that'll explain why I'm so weird. They are the weird ones too.
Okay.
They're very introverted.
Both.
Both my parents
Oh,
are
wow.
very introverted.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
we'd still go to parties, but we'd very much keep to ourselves. It was very rare if we ever hosted a party.
Really?
If so, it's because I wanted to, because it was for my birthday.
Wow.
But other than that, we would never host. We would never
Okay.
host parties. My parents are very reserved, very poised, very quiet whenever they're out in public. And then when they're at home, I see a completely different side.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
again, I think every kid sees a different side to
Sure.
their family
Of
behind
course.
closed doors.
Yeah.
Like I grew up with my friends and my cousins saying, "Oh, your mom is so kind and so sweet," and I'm like,
Wow.
"You're
That's
funny.
funny. Okay.
You're funny."
Okay.
Yeah, no, but my parents are true gems. Honestly,
Yeah, sure.
I'm very grateful for them because they got me to where I am now. Truly.
Yeah.
So. I have no regrets. You know,
Beautiful.
Dad could have said I love you a little bit more, but
You know
they're
what?
Mexican dads.
Mexican dads. The funny thing is now that like I'm older, my dad's older.
Yeah.
Now when I go back, he's kind of like he messages me now like I love you, son. You're doing so good. I'm so proud of you. And it's so rare. It's I wouldn't say it's awkward, but it's very rare to be like, whoa, okay, thanks, Dad.
Yeah, like
because when you're little, it's like. For me, I don't know if I should say, but for me, like my dad's bar was like, "You like girls? All right." That was the bar for my dad.
That's how you bond.
Because I was like this super quiet, shy guy. My dad's like a rock and roll guy, so introverted, but popular apparently. So he'd be like, he's this super quiet person and never, have a girlfriend until like very, very late. And he was just like, he was kind of like,
You good?
you like girls, right? I'm like, yeah, I like girls. He's like,
Just checking.
okay, yeah. So that was like the bar for my dad. So
Right.
I think I exceeded that a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, you're married
My
and have a daughter.
dad. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So teaching,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
you've always wanted to be a teacher?
No.
Yes or no? No. Okay.
No.
Tell me more.
I've not always wanted to be a teacher. My first dream was to be a ballerina, but that didn't pan out.
Okay.
Right. My parents didn't speak enough English to even know how to inquire after, ballet classes
love it.
or anything. So,
I love that.
yeah. So it was just whatever I watched on TV, that made do. But then I had a small inkling for teaching. I would play teacher with my dolls.
Okay.
And then pretty soon I had like a serious talk with my mom about what I wanted to be when I grew up. And she said, you should be something that could earn you a good living so you
Yeah.
don't have to worry about,
You don't have to think about money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Because they struggled all their life.
Like,
and
I know.
They don't want
Yeah.
that for their own kids.
Yeah.
So she said, you should be something good, like a doctor or a lawyer, the typical.
Doctor, lawyer.
Doctor
yeah.
or
Sure.
lawyer. And I said, you know what?
And
yeah.
what stopped the doctor lawyer dreams?
Oh boy, what stopped that? I think it was just in college. At one point, I was in. It was the first day of the new semester, my sophomore year, and I signed. I'm in a neurology class,
Okay. I
and
don't even know what that is. Okay.
study of the brain and neurons.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And the professor said, I'm passing a paper around. She was known for being a hard ass. She said, only sign this paper if you are committed to being in this class. And I get it. And I'm like, no big deal. I'm totally committed.
Yeah.
But right before my pen touched the paper, like an intrusive thought came in. I was like, do I really want to be a doctor?
Uh-huh.
Or do my parents really want me to be a doctor? I grew up not wanting to disappoint my parents or
Okay,
anyone
sure.
in general. But then came the questions, those selfish questions of, what about me?
Yeah. No, you got to, yeah.
Yeah. What am I doing? And this was my scholarship, and I didn't want to waste it because college is expensive in America.
Yeah.
And I don't want to pay for another 4 years for a mistake.
Yeah.
So I went through a quarter-life crisis for like a good 2 days. I still signed the
That's
paper,
awesome.
never went back.
Okay. Yes. That's hilarious.
Never went
Okay.
back. And I decided to just keep on going with other classes while I'm still thinking about my future career. And then I thought, well, I remember teaching was something I liked. I
Okay.
was really good at it in tutoring in high school. I'd play with my dolls when I was a kid. Let me try it out for a summer. There was a program
Okay.
called Breakthrough Collaborative. So I'm in Houston. So I did Breakthrough Houston, and I decided to go deep in the trenches in the hardest grades you can imagine, middle school. If you can
Oh,
do middle school,
it's
you
tough.
can do anything.
Wow.
That's what we believe.
Yes, for sure.
And the first few days were rough, but in the end, like I had a huge soft spot for all of them, and I wanted to do it again
Okay.
the next summer. So the fact that I wanted to do it again was a sign for me that
Okay.
I can do this.
Nice.
So from then on, I realized I'm going to do teaching first. And since it's not like the B movie, I can,
Yeah.
if this doesn't pan out in the end, I want to change professions, I can go back into the medical field.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the B movie. I love that one. That's so funny. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I think that having a good school
Yeah.
that you went to when you were younger, I think it's a big thing, right?
Yeah.
It's very important to have good teachers and stuff, and then becoming a teacher, and your school saying you were such a good student that we want to have you. That's pretty amazing.
Absolutely. It
Yes.
was pretty nerve-wracking. I mean, going back, and this is in 2019, so this is just shy right before the pandemic hit.
Okay.
And I go in, and I didn't know how to vibe with the students because I went from middle schoolers now to high schoolers.
Okay.
And between me and the seniors, it was only a 4-year difference.
Oh wow.
It was a 4-year difference, so I didn't know.
So the dudes were like, "Hey, we should hang out."
Exactly.
I'm
And they're like,
sure.
can I have your social media? And I was like, no.
That's so bad.
Yeah. I was like, I have
Yeah.
a hard policy. There's no way you're going
Yeah.
to find it. They did, but I never added them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because they've got FBI skills for things that
Sure.
don't matter. So I had a hard time trying to figure out my authority level, trying to make sure that they take me seriously.
Yeah.
And they did. And then the pandemic hit. And then it's trying to make sure that the kids are paying attention over online schooling.
Yeah.
I know
How was that? Tell me a little about online schooling,
Oh,
because
God, it was
I was,
awful.
of course, I was here for that.
Yeah.
My daughter loved it because I have all this gear.
Yeah.
And we have like a little studio at home. So she was
Wow.
like there with the big screen and like the little screen with the video games and like the teacher here and like the microphone and the headsets and playing video games. And so she loved it. She's like, can we do this forever? I'm like, I don't think so.
Multitasking at its best.
Yeah. So tell me about
Nice.
being the actual teacher for that. That must have been super hard.
It was incredibly difficult because, you have to, at first it was stay at home, right? And then try to keep the kids entertained.
Sure.
But also it's like making sure that they stay on camera, but then they don't want to be on camera. All of a sudden they're shy.
Yeah.
And they don't want to take off their mask. Or
Oh,
they would only
camera
show
shy.
Yeah.
Oh,
they'd only
yeah.
have like their eyes or their forehead.
Mm-hmm.
But for their exams, I said, okay, I need your faces for the test. At the very least, I'm begging. And at least they would comply.
Masks. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they said, okay, the teachers need to come back to school. But
Okay.
kids have the option to either do in person or
Okay.
stay at home. So I need to do two things at the same time.
Oh, yeah, that's
handle
right.
the computer and handle in person. So it's double the management. And,
Sure.
And some of the kids decided to just play games. And
Of course. That's my daughter. Yeah.
Right. Not just like play games on the video and then calling and calling and calling only to find out that they fell asleep and they just never left the meeting. But I meant as in like trying to play pranks because you have to be invited into the meetings.
Ah,
And then you
okay.
have kids coming in as guests with the most ridiculous of names.
Okay, sure.
And I'm like, oh, we don't need this. And then
Yeah.
they started just being very, very not so, let's say, what you call it? I can't even think of the word.
Okay. Good. I
just
couldn't think of
kind.
the word earlier. Okay.
Right,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
it's fine. It's just
Yeah.
being appropriate. Hey, that's the
Okay,
word.
appropriate.
They were
Okay.
not school appropriate. They were being
Ah.
very mean,
Okay.
very, very rude. And yeah, and heading into the next election, they were being
Okay.
very vocal about their opinions.
Oh,
and,
the politics
and
stuff.
trashing.
Yeah.
It's very hard to mediate all of that online because you're not there to
Yeah.
tell them, yo, quit it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was something, and so you get the kids back, and you're wondering, okay, you lost like a good year and a half of social skills. Let's
Yeah.
try to see where you're at, and then we saw good setbacks at school in terms of their reading levels, and
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
we had a lot of kids struggle.
Wow.
I was lucky in my school being one of the best schools in the city,
Okay.
but even then, you still saw a difference.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. It was how long? A year? A year and a half? How long was it?
by a year and a half. I mean, it started in
That's a long time.
yeah, we went
Yeah.
back all in person in the 2021 to 2022 school year, if I'm right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah. So
Yeah.
here it was like 4 months.
4 months.
Yeah. Because here, Taiwan, that was when Taiwan got kind of famous for
What?
like the zero COVID policy for a really long time.
Yeah.
So even 4 months for a restaurant to not be able to open is pretty rough.
Yeah.
But like a year and a half, I mean, everybody be gone. Like,
Yes.
that's so crazy. Yeah.
So many businesses were lost during that
Yeah,
time.
that's crazy, right? I think that the government there helped somewhat, apparently, from what I've read, but I don't know. Here, because I don't have Taiwan ID, I got no like help. Yeah, so that's kind of crazy. They're like,
That's
oh,
sad.
foreigner? No.
Good luck.
Yeah, no, you don't get that. So it was kind of a crazy time, but I'm not here to bitch about that. So yeah, so keep on telling me pandemic.
Yeah.
So
Pandemic.
pandemic. Tell me
Yeah.
post-pandemic.
Post-
Kids are coming back.
Kids are coming back.
falling
and-
behind a little bit.
Yeah, they're falling behind a
Okay.
little bit, but we're still vibing. At that point, I'm still just the AP Spanish teacher. I taught AP Spanish language and AP Spanish literature. So I'm teaching basically, there's high school level.
Tell me about the AP Spanish.
Yeah, so you start off regular high school, and then you could do pre-AP, which is more advanced work,
Mm-hmm.
and then AP is college level college level work for high schoolers.
Okay.
All my classes were AP.
Okay.
Yeah, so I
Wow.
taught these kids are smart.
Okay.
They're intelligent. They get their associate's degree before their high school diploma.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
getting college classes and
So,
credit.
but if they're all like, would it be easier? Not, I wouldn't say it's easier, but would it be if they're all kind of a similar level? Is it
Yeah.
kind of like a better? Or I mean, like when I taught, sometimes
Yeah.
I would have some kids that were fluent and some kids that didn't know the alphabet
Right.
in the same class.
Uh-huh.
Which is like, what am I supposed to do?
No, no.
Okay.
You still have kids of different levels.
Still- okay,
Sometimes
that
there were
makes-
kids who weren't that great in AP Spanish, but in Spanish in general, but they wanted to challenge themselves.
Okay.
Kudos. So when they would all help each other out, but there
Gotcha.
was still work to be done.
Uh-huh.
There are other regular level high school courses, but for me personally, they were all AP.
Okay.
And
Wow.
then finally, at the end of that year,
And you're probably one of the youngest
I was
teachers,
I
right?
was
and
the
you're getting all the
youngest.
AP stuff. Wow.
I was
okay.
the youngest, yeah. And then in my fourth year, I added something else to my course load. I started teaching AP World History.
Okay.
Yeah.
What? So you're a history buff then?
Yes.
You must be okay.
I love history. That's what I studied in college along with Spanish.
Oh,
and,
gotcha.
and
Okay.
American Studies, yeah.
Okay. So trivia night, you're on my team then, right? Is that what's-
Absolutely. That's what
I
I'm
gotta do it,
hearing.
yeah, okay.
You will win for sure.
Okay.
I taught that, and I got even closer with my students because not that Spanish isn't my passion,
Gotcha.
but
yeah.
history is an even bigger passion of mine.
Sure.
Thanks to an old history teacher that I
Teachers
had.
are so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And she became my coworker, so I got to
Dude,
collaborate with her.
that's cool.
It was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, and so all my work just went into trying to make this subject something that the kids could connect with.
Yeah.
I wasn't asking for it to be their favorite, because first day there I was saying, history is not my favorite thing. I don't like history. I've
They would
never
tell you
liked
that.
it. Yeah,
That's hilarious.
to my face.
My God.
Like, it's so boring. What's the point of history? And I was like, ooh,
Who cares?
hold
Oh my
it.
gosh,
Oh,
yeah.
it's the reason for why all of us are in this room, kiddo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay.
There's a lot to explore there. And 2 years of that along with the Spanish, and then things change within a district after the pandemic. You know, everything's beginning to shuffle. My district started changing their administrators
Okay.
and who's in charge, and pretty soon all the teachers were like, this isn't so fun right now.
Gotcha,
They're
yeah.
micromanaging.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, it is. So the kids and I would always try to make do, but it was hard for them to learn when there were all these extra things that they had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hard for me to have full creative liberties when, you know, I had a
the
checklist.
micromanagement
Yeah.
is awful. Yeah.
It is. It's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot, especially when, you know, at one point I was getting observed. At first I was getting observed every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turned into once a week. But before that, you only got observed around twice a semester.
Okay.
So that was
okay.
a huge change.
Once a week is crazy.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
lot. So
Oh,
we
wow.
always just expected someone walking into the room. So I thought, you know, it's been a while. I don't plan to stay at my old high school forever. What's
Yeah.
the next plan?
Sure.
And forever I'd always heard of this program called Fulbright. The
Yes.
Fulbright program.
Check this out. Bam.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
That's
Fulbright.
me.
I was waiting for the keyword. There you go.
You had it
Okay.
ready to go.
All right. Let's go.
That's
Fulbright.
it. Yeah, Fulbright. So
Tell me about it.
I had a really close friend of mine, a friend who I made in pre-K4, funny enough, who
That's
did
awesome.
this for Colombia.
Colombia.
And a
Yes.
coworker there at my high school who did it for Thailand.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I thought, okay, they all pushed me. They're like, you should try it. You should try it. And I was like, okay, I'll look into it. And the deadline, I was looking into this at September. The deadline was in October. I had a month. And I was like, okay, let's look at places that seem interesting. I've always wanted to learn Mandarin, but I didn't want to do China. Well, then again, it wasn't exactly offered, but I wanted to
Yeah.
try a different place that wasn't exactly too mainstream. So that meant Japan and South Korea were also off the list.
Sure.
And then I saw Taiwan was on there, and I was like, you know what? There's not much that I don't hear many people talking about Taiwan.
When you saw Taiwan pop up, what's
Yeah.
the first thing you thought of? Like, what Taiwan? Like, what? Because I'm always curious about that. It's like,
It's also like, okay.
like it could be
I-
like, what the hell is that? Where is that? Right?
I think the first question was, where exactly is it? Like, I
Okay.
knew generally where it was, but I
Okay.
need like a specific pointer. Now,
Uh-huh.
show me a map, I can immediately tell you where Taiwan
Gotcha. Yeah,
is.
yeah. Sure,
Absolutely. And also, it brought me back to a moment when I was teaching world history the past year.
Yeah.
My Taiwan was only mentioned twice in
Okay.
single sentences in the entire textbook for world history.
Wow. Okay.
And I know Taiwan has a lot of history.
A lot of history.
And the
for
fact
sure.
that it was only used in 2 sentences in an entire book, I think, was not fair. And my
Wow.
students would actually ask, they're like, so how did Taiwan get here? And I felt horrible to say, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Like, I have a general scope, but I didn't have the details to tell them the entire timeline.
Okay.
And I felt like my kids deserve better.
Okay.
And so this became like a really great moment for, I think, why not go there with the mission as a history teacher to learn more about this place? so that when my students ask, I can finally have those answers.
That's unbelievable. Oh my God. Just actually saying, you know what? I don't know about this island.
Yeah.
I'm going to go live there.
I'm gonna go live there.
That's what you did.
I actually did.
That's
So,
crazy. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Okay.
And then I was like, all right, let me apply. It's a long shot because it's a long application process. So the application is due because I came here as an English teaching assistant. So I'm not a full teacher.
Gotcha.
I'm an assistant. Application due in October. I got the semifinalist position in January. And then I didn't get the final notification until April. The thing is that our contracts...
This year, April.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So
okay.
that was quite the loop.
Okay.
And what hurts is that I didn't know if I was going to renew my school contract, if I was going to look for another job, or if I was
Sure.
going to take this. But I needed a response quickly.
It's like limbo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I was playing with my job. And it was just a hard decision to make. And thankfully, I got the response on a wonderful day in April, and I started crying like right on the spot.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh my gosh, I am the first in my family on both sides, I think, to even step foot in Asia.
Yeah.
No
that's
one
right.
has ever done it.
That's awesome.
Right. Thank
Gotta
you.
do it. Gotta do. That's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
I love that.
Thanks. And now I'm not just doing this for me, I'm doing this for my whole family. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, my parents are going to finally be able to also travel outside of just Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's
s-
always Mexico, right? Yeah.
It's always
yeah.
Mexico.
Yeah.
And so, fun fact, they've already booked their tickets for March.
Really?
So they're coming here. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They're
I
gonna be-
can't wait to meet them.
Oh, yes, they're definitely going to love this
If I
place.
can, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely,
Okay.
you will. So I'm very happy.
That's so great.
Talking about the subject was really hard. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm applying for this thing, Mom and Dad, and they're like, again, you're leaving again,
Yeah.
because I already left for college, and now they think this is just a thing with you, isn't it?
You're just leaving.
You're just leaving. I'm like,
Okay.
well, I mean, if no one's doing it, why not me? Why not have some
Yeah.
fun? Then I always tell my students too, like whenever
crazy.
they're applying for college, look for scholarships, look for fellowships. The money is out there. Don't spend your own
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. Of course, if
Right.
possible. Yeah.
Exactly. And for people of color, this is our chance to like just explore more of the world and breach outside of this bubble that we live in.
So quickly on that topic, with the people of color, is
Right.
there like is there a special like budget for let's say for like Mexicans or African Americans or something like? Is there like a special like budget for that scholarship for because
For
for
Fulbright?
example in Canada, the Aboriginals get like like special budget, and then for example I was going to be a police officer, right? And I got all the way to the end. Long story short, I failed the final interview. I passed everything, failed the final interview because I had no life experience, which was basically I hadn't seen anyone murdered. And I'm like, okay, I'm 19, but
Right.
cool. But basically for that, a lot of things like that, they have like reserved spots for people that are like not like white Canadian. So I would have got that spot if I had seen someone murdered, apparently. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm happy now. But
Yeah.
it's okay. I'm good with that. But
Yeah, no.
was there something like that? Because you mentioned that people of color gotta go.
Yeah, for Fulbright, I don't think so. They're just, you are an American
Okay.
who wants to go teach abroad or study abroad,
Okay.
go for it, right?
That's so cool.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Fulbright.
A shout out to Fulbright, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Love that.
There was another point I was going to mention, but
I'm sorry I cut you off.
No,
yeah,
no, no,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
no. You were great. You
Yeah,
were
yeah.
great.
So Fulbright.
Yeah.
You came out. You're like, Dad was saying you're leaving us. What is
Yeah.
this?
Dad was saying you're leaving, and when I just came back, I was like, yo, so are you going to go to Asia in the end? For
Yeah.
sure. And then he said, don't tell me you actually got it. I was like, yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
And tears again.
Of course.
I'm always
Mexican
crying.
style. Come on. Let's
I
go.
always cry because growing up, I didn't have another way to express emotion. If I couldn't speak up, the tears just spoke for me.
Tears. Let's go.
That's it.
Yeah.
But Dad did the thing of just saying like, I'm proud of you, and
Yeah.
that's it, right?
That's cool. I love
That's
it.
Yeah. So that's great. Yeah.
That's so cool. I love that. I love it.
Yes.
And now you're in Taiwan.
Yes, I'm Taiwan.
Fulbright said, all right, you're in. You got it. We're going to Taiwan.
Right.
You're in.
Yeah.
And now you live in this area, I think, right? Or
I live
not
in
really?
Shilling.
You live in Shilin, okay,
Yeah.
and you're teaching at a special school. So how did the
Yeah.
Fulbright to the school you're at now?
Right.
How did
So
that- yeah.
we get here and they're giving us this whole orientation like, welcome to Taiwan. Let us walk you through it, right?
Sure.
And I really, really like that.
Let me cut you off really quick.
Sure.
When you say we, was there other teachers from the States that came with you here?
Yes. Yes. He
Okay.
says, I'm sorry. I'm not the only one here.
Okay.
There's around, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get the number right, but around 160, 170 of us.
Okay. Wow.
Americans coming into Taiwan specifically.
Okay.
There's Fulbright partnerships all around the world, but for Fulbright Taiwan, around 160, 170.
Okay, wow.
of us. Yeah.
Okay.
And 39 of us are placed in Taipei,
Wow.
and the rest are all around the country.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Absolutely.
they're giving you I cut you off. They're giving you that orientation.
They're giving us the orientation.
You're in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Like, boom.
Yeah, and then around that first week, they said, okay, so we're going to go ahead and give you a whole 2 days for you to become acquainted with all the schools that we're partnered with. After you see all of them, we want you to rank your top. At first, it was your top 8. And then they're like, yo, we think we all ended up choosing the same one. So they said, you got to do it again and do your top 14.
Okay.
So we rank our top 14 and we have to give reasons why.
Okay.
And I like to see what everyone's different viewpoints are on
That's
some things.
cool.
Things that I didn't like about one school were someone else's favorite things.
Okay.
Right. And I have my top, and I was, doing, I kid you not, a whole essay for
I'm
every
sure
single
you made
one
an
of my
essay.
top
Oh,
grades.
that's so good. I love it.
Yeah. And everyone back at home are like, yep, we would expect nothing less of you. This
That's
is very,
the best.
yeah.
Essay.
Essays, right?
Presentation. Well, here's my. this is
Literally,
why.
that's all that was left.
Would you like a presentation? Yeah.
I have it ready to go,
That's
right?
awesome. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then
Plug in my laptop here. Let's
Right.
go.
A week later, they said, okay, it's school choice days. So it was a Friday. And that very day that we got our schools, we would also get our apartment reassignments because we would be reassigned to the apartment that's closest to our school or the one that would make more sense
Okay.
for you to live in.
Yeah, sure.
Right. And I get my school and I can't, it's in Chinese. I can't read Chinese. I'm learning.
Yeah.
But I can't read. However, I know the basics. And when I saw, and I saw a certain character, I said, I'm in the mountains.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm in the mountains.
Mingshan or
Yeah,
something, right?
yeah. I said, I'm in the mountains. Oh my gosh, that's really cool, but also really daunting. But I got placed in the northernmost apartment, but even then, it's not too close to my school.
Okay.
What I like though, at first I wasn't too keen about it, but then again, that school was in my top choices.
The one that you got.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I was
gotcha.
very lucky in that regard. I think it was just the distance because in Houston, I commute from my house to school around 40 minutes in my car. Here, it's around the same thing. I take the
Okay.
MRT and then I have to take a bus and then I walk.
Okay.
But I'm lucky with phenomenal teachers, administrators, and
Okay.
students.
That's amazing.
I'm incredibly blessed. So I met my administrator that day. And they're like, hi, this is when we're having certain dates. We would like for you to please come meet us on those days. And also, this is when your first day. And these are the chats. Please feel free to reach out if you need anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that, well, how long is sort of the Fulbright thing? Is it like a 1 year thing? Like what's like, so you come here, they're bringing you to Taiwan, you were saying the government kind of is inviting people because the government wants Taiwan to be bilingual
Yes.
by 2030.
Yes, this is a whole
So,
partnership
okay.
with the Taiwanese
So
government.
tell me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So we always say a year, but in reality, technically, it's 11 months.
Okay.
So we come in August and we leave around the end of June.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the full school year,
Okay.
the prep month, and then we started school and up until the last day of school. And we're
Okay.
doing things here and there. We have workshops. We have meetings with the entirety of the Taiwan cohort.
Okay.
So all of us meet in one particular place and we have trainings. We're in 2 weeks. Actually, now that I think about it, I think it's on your trivia night. We're gonna have
Let's go.
we're gonna have
no.
a Thanksgiving. I know, sorry,
Okay,
I'm not gonna be on your
yeah.
team.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have a Thanksgiving dinner. We're keeping up with these
Awesome.
American
Beautiful.
traditions to still tie us together.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
And we share our experiences.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is Taiwan treating you so far?
Oh gosh. I have nothing bad to say, truly.
Okay.
Taiwan is treating me very, very well. Before I left, I was very worried about how it would be here. I mean, I've never been in Asia. No one I know has been
Yeah.
in Asia. And then I am so lucky to have certain connections in my life who then connected me to people, and then they connected me to people, and then they connected me
Yeah.
to people. And I ended up going to the Taiwanese community center in Houston.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I didn't even
Okay.
know that
You didn't
existed.
even know there was
I didn't know
one.
they
Yeah.
existed.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Taiwanese are everywhere. Yeah.
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 I was like, y'all are amazing.
Yeah.
Why didn't we know about this?
Yeah.
And I met with their board, and they're telling me all about their connections. They're like, we can hook you up if you need to. Also, Taiwanese people are incredibly friendly. And I was like,
Yeah.
you didn't even need to mention this because I'm getting the feel right now.
Yeah.
They're very, very kind. They go out of their way to help you. You ask a question, they will go the extra mile, truly. Sometimes, like, just small little things. My coworkers have no need to worry about me.
Okay.
Or like my rides. Like everyone typically is like,
Yeah.
you get to school, you leave school, you're an adult, you can do this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's raining too hard or I have a training, and also like they just happen to leave at the same time, they're like, yo, you want a ride? Like, I'll give you a ride.
Yeah.
And I was like, you don't
So
have
cool.
to. And they're like, yeah, no, we want to.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I needed to go to get checked up at a hospital for something, and then because I didn't know how to do anything.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't know how
yeah.
to use my card.
Yeah.
One of my administrators was like, I'll take you. I'll walk you through. I'll go with you. Step by step, she was right there the entire time.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I felt very comforted, and I was like, wow, y'all are amazing.
It's beautiful.
It's very beautiful. In America, good freaking luck having someone like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they exist, but it's not that common.
Yeah, no, even in Canada where everybody's famous for being
Super nice.
super friendly and
Yeah.
super nice,
Yeah.
they're not going to drive you around and do something for you
No.
like that. They're not
No.
doing that. So
No.
it's kind of crazy,
It
right?
is very, very crazy.
Has there been any like kind of like shocks or like surprising, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you can do that in Taiwan?
Oh my gosh, yes. So leaving your stuff just about anywhere
Yeah.
in public spaces and not worrying about someone taking it, or just dropping something like your phone, which is a story I'm about to tell. But first off, about just leaving your stuff anywhere.
Yeah.
You can be in a coffee shop and leave your computer, your belongings, your keys, everything,
Everywhere.
and
Okay.
you're gonna find everything in its place when you come back.
All the money's still
All
there.
the money is still there. In America, leave it. You can turn around and go back. Gone. It is gone in seconds.
I think in a lot of places it's like,
In a
even in
lot of
Canada,
places.
obviously Mexico, Canada
Oh,
for sure.
yeah.
Canada for sure too.
Really?
Vancouver and stuff, yeah, for sure. In Canada, yeah.
Oh wow! I did not know that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, big city. If
Yeah,
it's a
that
small
is true.
town, maybe we'll
Yeah.
see. But I still wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Everywhere. And so
Lost your phone.
yeah, I did lose my phone.
Mm-hmm.
This was, what was it? I had just been placed at my school,
Okay.
and this is before I go into the school. I got to my new apartment. I'm shopping. I'm spending a little bit too much of my money because the clothes here are great and the prices are unbeatable.
Crazy,
But,
right?
yeah, it's raining and I have my bags. I'm shuffling so many things and I'm trying to get to my next destination.
Mm-hmm.
But then next thing I know, I'm like, all right, let me get my phone so I can see where I'm about to go. But you know how your heart falls to your stomach whenever you can't feel your phone?
Oh yeah.
That my blood went ice cold. My stomach was like, your heart's right here at the bottom, bro.
Like it's gone.
It's gone. My phone was gone. I was like, maybe I put it in the big pocket because sometimes you space out and put things in another place. Nope, it was
Do that.
gone, and I'm panicking because I'm in a new country,
Yeah.
new place. I don't know anyone. I can guess my way to the house, but there was no way that I was gonna be able to find. So I'm freaking out. And then people who had passed by on the street, they're like, "Miss, are you okay?" First off, it took me a second to realize that they were speaking to me in full English.
Okay. Okay.
But they're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, I am not okay." And they're like, "What's wrong?" I said, "Someone stole my phone." I worded it, "Someone stole my phone," because I immediately
Okay.
thought someone stole it.
Okay,
Because there
yeah.
was a lot of people moving
Yeah.
near me. And then before saying, "Oh my gosh," they both went, "What do you mean someone stole your phone?"
Yeah. People
Like-
don't do that.
Yeah, no, seriously. They're like, "You sure you just didn't drop it?" And I was like, "I'm pretty sure I didn't just drop it.
Yeah.
I think someone stole it." And they're like, okay, like, let's help you find it. I'm like, perfect, great, help me find it. But they're like, "Do you have an iPad?" Luckily enough, I had my iPad that day.
Okay.
And I was like, "Do you have Wi-Fi in your store?" They're like, "Yeah, let's hook you up." and I hook it up, and it said it was in the same in the same like street where I was.
Okay.
But I didn't want to leave, and I needed to go look for it. But the second I left the store, I wouldn't be able to find it. And it said that it was inside this hot pot place, but I couldn't speak Chinese, and I don't want to go accusing people. I was like, can someone please come with me? And someone stayed at the store with my stuff. At that point, I didn't have anything valuable in there. Didn't matter. And I'm looking, I'm walking, and the next thing I know, someone is just walking around the street like this. And then I notice, I recognize the screensaver and everything, and I was like, oh my gosh. She's like this. And I was like, that's my phone. I start crying on the spot.
I love it. Yeah.
I'm always crying. And
that's funny.
I'm giving the yes, I'm so thankful.
Yeah.
And I'm like full on bowing, and I'm offering money to the people who helped me. I'm like, they're like, no, you do not owe us money. And I was like thinking, they're like, no, it's just people don't steal here.
Yeah.
We were just so sure you dropped it.
Yeah.
And it was on the floor. I just didn't see it.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. I was like, oh my God.
It's funny. People don't steal here. And like, I've lost my keys, my wallet, and my phone so many times. My wife gets pissed so many times. I've like, just like, dude, I'll have like shorts on. I'll just put, thing in my pocket, and I'll be on the scooter, and it'll just fly across the road. And I get home, and I'm like, oh no, like, oh shoot. And then I'm thinking, and then you kind of like, you're going back thinking like, oh my God, so much crap for my wife. And then it's gonna, I got to go buy another phone. And now I got all my stuff on there. It's like, oh, and I have to do all the cancel the credit card, blah, blah, blah. Right. And then like, half an hour later, police station's like, yeah, someone dropped this phone off for you. I'm like, oh. So I've been at police station so many times to pick up my phone.
Do they know you
They
now?
must think I'm some idiot. Yeah, for sure. Because I've my wallet, my everything. I've dropped everything, and I've lost everything, and it always comes back every single time.
That is incredible.
It's crazy. Every single time. And all the money's still there.
All the money?
Everything's there. The money's there. The credit card's there. Everything's there.
Wow.
It's just like, wow. So it's almost to the point where I get so careless because I'm like, oh, everybody's nice. They're not going to take my stuff. You go to like a Starbucks, you leave your stuff there all day. Yeah, no problem. It's crazy. Taiwan's it's a great place.
It's an amazing place.
Yeah, yeah. So
it's very good.
1 year, like 11 months or so, right? That's what you get for Fulbright.
Yeah.
So what's the plan after that? Would you be into staying? Because spoiler alert, they definitely need teachers here, always. Especially, like educated, smart, friendly, English-speaking, American passport.
Right.
Tell me about it.
What's the plan?
Yeah.
Right. Oh my goodness. Also, funny you mentioned.
I know it's early, but yeah.
No. It's the perfect moment to ask, honestly, because I'm someone who likes to plan with time.
Okay.
So this has already been on my to-do list for a while. But on the point of you saying American, funny, I have to leave the country far, far away for me to actually be considered just fully American.
Isn't that crazy?
It's insane because over there I'm like, oh, you're a Mexican.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But when you're in Mexico, you're like, oh,
you're American.
You're
yes,
neither or I'm.
Yes. Oh,
there you go.
We were talking about being a fake Mexican.
Yeah.
My gosh, even like here. Okay, so in Canada, you're a Mexican Canadian, right? In Mexico, I'm Canadian.
Right.
I'm not Mexican at all.
Nope.
And then here, I'm just white. I'm just like a white guy. I'm like, okay, well, it's so crazy. I'm like, oh, do I get the privilege or and they're like, yeah. So here I get some of that, which is crazy.
Nice.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a crazy place. So yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
And with a Canadian passport, it's a crazy space.
Yes.
It's a crazy place to be, but it's a good place to be.
It is.
So tell me if you would like it enough to stick around, maybe another year. We were talking about international schools are amazing.
They are.
Also, there's schools everywhere that are always looking for people.
Yes. So it was in my bucket list before Fulbright was a thing. I wanted to teach abroad, period.
Okay.
Doing Fulbright allowed me to be with a program that would technically kind of walk me through the process of being in a foreign country and how to do it, how to deal with it, and how to get used to the space.
Yeah.
I've been used to being in a foreign country before when I studied abroad in Europe, but this time I was like, you're a full-on adult. You're getting paid. This is something different.
Yeah.
So this is a great experience. Would I be open to continue teaching abroad? Absolutely, actually. I'm loving the vibe. I'm loving the students. I'm loving the families. I'm loving the schools, the administrators. I'm very, very lucky in almost every regard.
Sure. Okay.
And so I would very much like to continue learning. What kind of teacher would I be by just continuing on expanding these horizons? I
Okay.
wonder what it'd be like to teach at an international school by teaching AP World History,
Yeah.
because that's a thing here.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah. yeah,
Right. And so I'd want, or Spanish maybe, quien sabe.
You for sure. They're always looking for Spanish teachers here. Yeah.
I didn't even
Yeah.
know that was actually a demand.
It's a thing. It's a thing. I've done it before, and I'm like, mine's good, but it's pretty rusty.
It's pretty
I've been. So we were talking about our ages earlier. I've
Yeah.
been here. I've been here since you were 3. Yeah.
Since I was 3.
Since you were like 3.
Yo.
Yeah. We were talking about ages a little while ago. Yeah. So, and I grew up similarly. I'm 46, right? So I remember. So we're talking about families, and my parents didn't speak English. My dad spoke enough to go work.
Yeah.
My mom spoke 0, so we taught my mom English. Mm-hmm. And we always spoke Spanish at home, and it's fluent and all that. But after being buried, having it buried under Chinese for 20 years, it's there. It's rusty for sure.
Right.
But yeah, no, I've taught it before. Yeah, for sure. It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's
what are
cool.
they? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm trying to find people here who speak Spanish to make sure it doesn't go away. Naturally, the daily phone calls at
Yeah.
home is keeping it in check.
Yeah, well, that's the Mexican style. It's like,
That
hey,
is the
I
Mexican
love it,
style.
yeah.
If I don't call home,
Yeah,
my mom's
what
like,
happened?
"Are you alive?
Yes.
¿Estás viva? ¿Qué onda? ¿Qué
Oh
pasa?"
my gosh! I called. I always forget the time change, right? And I got some kind of a ticket or something, and I had my international driver's license, and I was expired by like years, right?
Yeah.
So I called, and I was like, "Shoot, I got to get this thing." And I called, and my mom picks up the phone. It's like 3 a.m. or something, and her response is always like, "Are you in jail?" I'm like, "Not in jail, Mom." She's like, "What happened? ¿Qué pasó, mijo? Are you in jail?" I'm like, "I'm not in jail, Mom. My international driver's license expired." And she's just like, "Are you sure? Are you sure? You need money?" I'm like, "Don't need money. I just need my international driver's license, and I'm not in jail." So my mom would be like, "Are you in jail? What
Right.
happened?" Yeah,
Right.
it's crazy.
Because you were calling late at night.
So I was calling late at night, and we have cousins that have been in jail. And when I was a kid, we went to Mexico to visit. We went almost not every summer, but almost. And there was one time I had a cousin in jail, and we all went to visit him, and it was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, and I remember that. So we have some of that in the history. So my mom's like, "Are you in jail? What happened?
Wow.
What'd you
still
do?
looking out for you.
Is it?" I'm like, "Mom, I'm not selling drugs. I'm not in jail. It's all good. It's crazy."
I think
yeah.
it's insane that no matter how old we get, we'll always be like
Yeah.
kids to our parents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hold on, we actually have a live question. Hold on
Oh,
one sec.
cool.
Give me 1 sec.
Go for it.
Could you introduce, sorry, my eyes are starting to go apparently. Could you introduce Cancun, Mexico to people from Taiwan? Do you know anything about Cancun?
Not really. I've never had
Not
the pleasure
really?
of going, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
So usually Cancun is like a really big touristy place.
Huge.
So usually like the Mexicans and the locals and stuff like that, they don't go there.
Yeah.
Like I've never been to Cancun, but yeah, usually that's kind of like I would say like spring break, like
Yes.
Americans,
Popular
Canadians
destination.
would go to Cancun, or there's a few like is it Playa del Carmen or something like? There's a few,
Yes, Playa del Carmen.
but I know that Cancun is one of the big ones. Yeah.
Yes. Beautiful places
Yeah,
for sure.
apparently super nice. But whenever we go,
Yeah.
we go to Guadalajara,
Yeah.
and it's
Family.
just like the same street,
Yeah.
same like potholes on the same spot that have been there for like 50 years, and the taquerias on the corner, right? It's amazing. Yeah, I love
Right.
it. So I've never been to Cancun,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Either
but
am I,
yeah,
sorry.
I heard it's nice.
I heard so too.
But yes, so beautiful. So your parents are coming.
Yes, they are
It's gonna be
coming.
beautiful. I'm gonna pop some pictures up here, and
Go
we'll
for
just
it.
kind of rapid fire through them.
Let's go.
Let's go. Number one.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, those
Gonna
are
cry.
my best friends from high school. I am missing. I'm missing 2 more. So on the left it's Saba, and then it's Leticia, then it's me, and then it's Myrony. 2 missing. One is Vanessa. She's now teaching English in South Korea.
Beautiful.
So we both always
Actually,
had the
you
dream
could go
of going.
visit.
Yeah,
So close.
I'm
yeah.
hoping winter break.
Yeah.
So hopefully
Yeah.
Vanessa will take me in. and Jackie, who now lives in Oregon. So, but it's nice that we still managed to get together. This was my goodbye party. This is the last time I saw them
Awesome.
before I left.
Ooh, it's tough. Growing up is hard.
It really
Yes.
is.
I know the feeling. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, have a beer with a buddy, and
Right.
you realize the last time you saw them was like 15 years ago. And you're like, oh
Yes.
my gosh, yeah, it's crazy.
Absolutely.
Let's go again. Boom. Fulbright was the first one. Here we go.
Oh, that's also my
So
goodbye
cute.
party. So this is the day before I left.
Okay.
Some of my students and past students decided to just surprise me at a boba shop to say goodbye.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so these are all some of my students, some current, some the year before, some who already graduated.
Nice.
And they were just like, bring me souvenirs.
Is boba popular now?
Boba is very
Really?
popular, huge. It's huge. And so I was like,
In
I'm going to
California,
restart it.
apparently it's huge, but everywhere it's huge?
Houston
Really?
for sure
Okay,
is huge.
okay.
In Chinatown for sure.
Wow. Okay.
Everywhere. It's a popular meetup
Interesting.
spot.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh
Do you
my
know who
gosh.
that is?
I do not. No. I
Have you
didn't.
ever seen a show called The Office or heard of it?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
He is a star in the show.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. So Oscar Nunez, and there's this big convention for, I'm going to call it for nerds like me.
Hey, nerds are cool, man.
They're
Let's
amazing
go.
for
Yeah.
all things movies, shows, comics, and they invite
So cool.
all these amazing people over. And I was technically his assistant for 2 days. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I got to
Whoa.
hang out with the cast of The Office. I was
That's
like,
cool.
This is an honor, dude.
Oh, my gosh.
And so I told him about me going to Taiwan and how I was nervous. He's like, girl, you're young. You got to grow.
Do
this
it.
This is it. He's like, if it wasn't for me, I'd still be in Florida. All my family's still in Florida, but I wanted to try out something new.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
if I could, you can too.
Oh, man.
I know.
Shout out.
I
That's
was-
beautiful.
This is
I
a
love
beautiful
that.
interaction.
That's beautiful. Ooh, I
Yeah.
picked some good ones then.
You did
Nice.
pick some good ones. Oh,
That's awesome. I love that.
So a
the
student-
Encanto style stuff,
it
right? Everybody loves that.
is.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm pulling my mask down. This is right when we all came back from COVID.
Okay.
We still have to wear masks. A student, if I'm correct, her name was Wasan. She took a picture of me on, I think it was Dia de los Muertos. I try to dress up at school. I try to bring some life into our
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
daily
Love it.
activities because high schoolers think that everything has got to be so
Dude.
bland. No, the kids are like kindergartners. They want to have some fun.
Okay.
And so I dress up and I brought this and she took a picture and then just surprised me with it.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, I actually look pretty. Thank you.
It's a great picture.
It's a
yeah.
great
It's so
picture.
cool. I love that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I do too.
You can't be Mexican without talking a little bit about the food. I miss that. Right?
I miss this so much. Conchas?
I do too.
Pan
Conchas.
dulce?
Pan dulce, yeah.
Not a thing here.
No, the bread here, it's gotten way better over 20 years, but
Yeah.
I don't eat much bread because I just don't eat much bread anymore because I've just been here for so. I eat
Yeah.
tortillas like, almost every day, but
Yes.
bread not much, but the
Right.
pan dulce like that, like the conchas, that stuff is.
Absolutely.
I miss that.
I miss this. A cafecito con pan in the morning.
Yes,
And
yes.
right now with the cold hitting,
Yeah,
this is
perfect.
the moment, right? Oh, there's no panaderias nearby for me to go in and just go,
Yeah.
oh, it smells great. No,
Yeah.
nothing.
And even if you do and you go in, you can smell it and be like, oh, amazing. Then you get one, and you're like,
Yeah, right?
not the strongest suit, unfortunately.
Not
but
the best
yeah.
one. Yeah.
Two more.
Let's go.
Boom.
Another day when I dressed up. So
Love it.
in my high school, we have a trophy called the Challenge Cup. And throughout
Okay.
the year, we do all these competitions. And you know what a homeroom is, right? Yeah. So
Yep.
we call our homerooms advisories.
Okay.
And in my homeroom, we finally won the Challenge Cup.
Oh, beauty.
We
Okay.
did. It was called Penny Wars. This is a fundraiser
Okay.
for a yearbook. It's basically each advisory gets like a jar, and you as an advisory try to fill it up with pennies.
Okay.
But it's a war with your other advisory. So if they put any silver change or dollars, it subtracts whatever pennies you have. So if you have 100 pennies,
Okay.
and someone puts $1, you technically have 0.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's real. And so we plotted and came up with great strategies, and we ended up having a $200 surplus, I think. I could be crazy.
Wow.
We
Okay.
had a lot of money. No one saw it coming, but unfortunately that meant we were the target every year after.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. That's hilarious. We got one more.
Let's go.
Last one.
Okay.
That's the best. That's like as Mexican as it gets. That's the best, right? Loteria. I remember playing Loteria as a kid.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh
So I
my-
had, and my mom always had the apron.
Yeah.
So when I saw the apron and the Loteria, I had to pull that picture. It was a good one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this was, same, right as the kids came back from COVID, we were all like, okay, we need to do something to welcome them back.
Yeah.
Because we missed them.
Yeah, of course.
We
yeah.
missed the kids. I did. And so we are like, okay, let's every room do a theme of kind of like an activity. And I said, all right, I'm going to be that one tia. Ever seen a show called El Chavo del Ocho?
Of course, El Chavo del Ocho I know. The
Chavo-
Office I don't know, but
But
Chavo del
Ocho?
Ocho I know. Yeah.
Okay, you
With
were forgiven.
Kiko and all that stuff,
I'm
right?
channeling my inner Doña Florinda here.
Oh, got it. Okay,
With
okay.
her rollers and
Oh
everything.
man.
And so I sponsored.
Kiko was the man. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my, you can't see in this first pocket, but in the other pocket, I kid you not, I have a chancla ready to go.
Oh yes.
So the kids knew
The
not to mess with
chanclas.
me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There's a YouTuber, like a Mexican American guy, YouTuber. His name is David Lopez. I don't know. He's pretty famous.
Oh, I love him.
Do you know him? Beans and
Yes.
Rice, right?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So I found him like years ago, and I've always watched his stuff. And my daughter loves his stuff, and so my daughter learned all about like the chancla and stuff like that
Yeah.
from watching his videos. Because I mean, she lives here, right? So she didn't see any of that stuff.
Right.
So it's so crazy. Like he's like one of our favorites. Yeah.
He's absolutely
And
amazing.
when he dresses up and he's Juan, right?
Juan.
Juan is the best. I love it.
No, Juan is like Juan. Yes.
Juan is the best. I love it.
Juan.
Oh my gosh, it's so
Yes.
good. Yeah, I don't know how popular he is, but we love that guy. Yeah,
He's incredibly popular.
yeah, he is. Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, a couple more questions.
Go for it.
Do you find any similarities with the culture here and like sort of Mexican culture or your culture?
I think, I'm not saying this at all in a bad way.
Uh huh.
They're very welcoming to foreigners.
Okay.
They're very welcoming to foreigners. In Mexico, foreigners are very much welcome. Like, oh my gosh, come over. They will treat you like family.
Yeah.
And here, I am very much treated like family in a sense, at least
Sure.
with the people who I hang out with a lot.
Yeah.
They've
No, it's true, yeah.
been, would you like to come to my house? Do you want to go out to eat? Well, I can invite you to my concert here and there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they bring me treats. They feed me stuff. I have an IE at work
Nice.
who gives me always like tea and snacks. And she's
Cool.
very kind to me. Very, very kind. So in that regard, we are similar. That's with Mexican culture. We're very
okay.
welcoming.
Welcoming. Yeah.
And very willing to help others.
Mhm.
Going that extra mile. And
Mexican,
in my house, we were always, my siblings and I were trained to always be willing to help other people.
Yeah.
If you know that you can help them, y no te cuesta nada,
Yeah.
go for it.
Yep.
It's good. You don't need anything in return.
Yeah.
So I'm always willing to lend a helping hand, although here I'm kind of at a disadvantage. I'm the one being helped most of the time.
Well, it's
'cause
the
I'm
karma
new.
from all the good stuff that your family did, right? Yeah. There you go.
I guess. Yeah, it's all new. Other similarities,
What about with American culture? Because you're both cultures, right?
both cultures.
Yeah.
I
Out of
didn't-
curiosity.
Yeah, I didn't expect there to be such a huge affinity for Halloween here.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, they like Halloween here. My students, I asked them, "Do you like Halloween?" I just like, "Yes, I like Halloween." Oh my gosh, really? What do you do? Trick or treat. I'm like, okay, we trick or treat here too. Great, that's awesome. Now, well, I do know that here it's not like in houses. I do know
Yeah.
it's like in restaurants and
Yeah.
safety, families, daytime mostly.
Yeah.
And in America, it's like a
Yeah.
it's like a night, right? And very, very candy driven with
Yeah.
whole bunches of candy. Here, it's
Yeah.
like one piece by piece.
Yeah.
But what I like though is that the kids here are very grateful with that single piece you give them,
Yeah.
because my students went trick or treating at school and they just got, and my student went, "I got 4 pieces of candy." I'm like, "You got 4 pieces of candy?
That's
That's
so
amazing."
good.
But I was talking to my administrators about this, and I
Yeah.
said, if you gave a single piece of candy to an American kid
Yeah.
while trick or treating, they will call you out for
They'll
being.
toilet paper your house.
They will
Yeah.
toilet paper your house.
Yeah.
They're like, "Really?" They're like, "Yeah, standard's like at least 3." And the only time 1 is allowed is if you go to the rich neighborhoods and they give you the big
Like
candy
the
bars,
full size,
candy
full size
bars.
Butterfingers or
Yes.
something, right? Yeah.
Never had the luxury, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Me neither. Me neither. But yeah. Yeah. I've seen them. Yeah. Yeah. That's funny because actually Halloween in this area, in sort of Tianmu, it's
Yeah.
big, and here it's very. One of the things that I noticed that they really love the Western, especially like the American
Yeah.
holidays and the American culture. I remember when I came here the first time. Everywhere I went, American is 美国人, right? They'd be like, oh, 美国人吗?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, no, Canada. And they're like, oh. Now they're like, oh, Canada 很好, but before they'd be like,
You're like,
oh,
you're not that
And they're like,
great.
yeah, that's okay, I guess.
Really? You never pulled the moishigaran?
Yeah, Moshigaran. Yeah,
Yeah.
So yeah, because I have the restaurant,
Yeah.
I would say Moshigaran, and they will say like, oh, "Where's your, I've had so many crazy things
Where's
said
your
to me.
mustache?
Where's your mustache?
Right.
But that was before, and now they'll be like, "Oh, Moshigaran. Oh, El Chapo." And I'm like, yeah. They're like,
Really?
oh, Narcos, El Chapo.
No.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know him personally, but yeah.
That could be your cousin for all they know.
It's possible, yeah.
What in the
El
world?
Chapo, yeah. So it's like Narcos, El Chapo, yeah.
Right. That could have been your hookup. No.
We got another one. What a
Oh.
treat from Eddie's Mexico related content. Yes. Shout out to my man there. The Average Joe watches most of these videos, man. He's amazing. So he came to Taiwan. He's from Europe, from Austria, and he lives in the States. He lives in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
I don't know what time it is there, but I
Props
love
to
it,
you,
man.
dude.
Appreciate you.
It's
Appreciate
election day. Good luck.
You. Ooh,
It's,
yeah.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Right
So
now we're
cool.
all anxiously waiting.
Yeah, well, shoot.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add about that? The whole election day thing? That's now, right?
It is now.
Election day.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
election day, and we're gonna be just waiting anxiously for the results over here. I had lots of questions of, are you gonna vote while you're over there?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was born as an American citizen, and my parents for the longest time couldn't vote because
Yeah.
they were immigrants, right?
Yeah.
But I thought it's only fair for me to exercise that right that I
Yeah.
have.
And they fought hard to get there.
They fought
Yeah.
very hard to
Yeah.
get there, and they became citizens in 2019,
Nice.
just before the
Wow.
pandemic hit.
Beautiful.
And we all voted together in the 2020 election. It was really nice.
I love that. Oh, that's
Yeah,
so cool.
all went together. Their oath ceremony again, tears.
Yeah, there we go.
It was
Okay.
very, very nice. But yeah, I made sure to vote. It's a whole process. Every state is different.
Okay.
Some places you get your ballot through the email.
Okay.
And then you can email it back. Texas
Okay.
is like, yeah, you're cute, honey. So they'll email
Yeah.
it to you.
Yeah.
But you have to print it, fill it out,
Yeah.
and mail it by snail mail.
Okay. Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
but I'll be honest, I did this last week, and snail mail was going to take me 2 weeks, which would be past the election date.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So I had to go to a FedEx.
Okay. You FedExed it from
I
here.
FedExed it, and I was like, okay, how long is it going to take? They're like, 2 days. And I was like, 2 days?
That's crazy.
That's crazy, but that did cost me an arm and a leg.
I'm
but
sure.
That's
I'm
fine.
sure.
That's fine. I'll
Wow.
take it.
Okay.
I'll take it.
Won't talk too much about the politics stuff because that's
That's fine. It's a
always
dicey
crazy.
subject, yeah.
That's a crazy subject for sure.
Yes, it is.
But things are so far so good in Taiwan. So
Mm-hmm.
do you have any advice for somebody who's kind of maybe thinking about it, looking overseas, maybe thinking about Fulbright, what's
Right.
Fulbright? Maybe I should
Yeah.
look deeper. So any advice for people like that?
Absolutely do it. Absolutely do it. It's
Okay.
an amazing opportunity for you to just see outside what America has to offer. It's not just this one bubble. The world is huge.
Big place.
And giving these smaller countries a chance to, the ones that you really haven't heard of. You don't
Yeah.
have to go to these mainstream places.
Yeah.
Give them a shot, and you will be rewarded 100-fold.
Okay.
Because not only will you gain so much in the culture and the people, but also professionally, just all around, you will become a better person. I feel like I'm becoming a better person, a more well-rounded person, and also a more well-rounded teacher.
Okay.
Because I'm picking up
Yeah.
all these little things about, wow, I never really took this into consideration when I was a teacher in America.
Mm-hmm.
And now there are lots of little things that I have to keep in mind in the future for whenever, if I do continue teaching English or just any subject, because you will encounter students who do not know the language you're
Yeah.
teaching.
Yeah.
So you have to know how to cater to their needs
Mm-hmm.
and their interests so that they too can succeed.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Absolutely do it.
I
Yeah.
have one more question. I want to backtrack
Go
a
for
little
it.
bit.
Yeah.
Backtrack a little bit.
Go for it.
You were saying that you had to come all the way to Asia to be
Yes.
considered American.
Yes.
I have to get more info on that one.
Right. So it's in the United States. It's if you are a person of color, it's like, hi, where you from? And I'm like, oh, I'm from Houston. Yeah, but where are you like really from?
Yeah.
I'm like, from Houston.
Okay.
But you look.
You don't look Houston-y.
You look Houston-y. You don't look Texan-y. I'm like, I'm sorry. Did you need me to have like a cowboy hat or something?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I'm Mexican. They're like, but you don't look Mexican. Do you need me to pull out my sarape, my burro that I have right
yeah,
out back?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? It's never just American.
El Chapo.
Yeah, right.
Give him a
Just call it Chapo
Call
real
him
quick.
up. Yeah.
It's never just American. It's always something Mexican,
Interesting.
American, Salvadorian, American.
Mm-hmm.
Always a tag along. But when I'm here, it's American. But believe it or not, instead of just being like, wow, I'm finally a full American. I'm the one who's always saying, and Mexican.
Yeah.
And Mexican. Fun fact: a week before I got here,
Yeah.
I officially got my Mexican citizenship.
Wow.
So
okay.
now I'm a dual citizen. I have
That's
my
cool.
Mexican passport and birth certificate and everything. So I'm now in a country in this world. I have my full legal name, like my real name.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's amazing.
That's cool.
I'm very, very happy.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I really wanted to squeeze that in there. I
Yeah,
know we're going
of
a little bit
course.
over time here, but I think we got one more question. Okay. What do you think the biggest challenge Taiwanese parents face in education?
Taiwanese parents.
Ooh.
Ooh,
That's a question for you.
dang. That's a really good question. I only have like 2 months. I think it's only
Yeah.
been 2.
Well, I know for me, we were talking about education earlier, and I know that it's long hours for kids, and it's a high pressure, long hours for kids, which I think is not great. But because everybody does that here, it's like the norm. So I remember teaching a kid a private class, like teaching him English years ago,
Yeah.
and he always got sick, and he was kind of a short kid, whatever, which is relevant. Just got to keep going on the story. He was always sick, and his mom was like, "Oh, come and teach him," and blah blah blah. And I said, "Oh, I got something, so I can't teach. I'm only free like after 9 p.m."
Whoa.
And she's like, "Well, that's fine." He was like 8, I think, 8 years old, maybe, or 9. Right? Yeah. And I'm like, 9 p.m. And she's like, yeah, just come at 9 p.m. and blah, we'll do an hour. And
Right.
so I was like, just kind of building my business, and I was kind of broke, right? I'm like, okay, cool. So I go, and this kid was just like falling asleep the whole class. So I only did it once,
Right.
because I'm like, no matter how much money, whatever you're going to pay me, I cannot keep this kid up, torture this kid. This kid needs to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So I only did it once, but
Yeah.
I told her, what he needs is sleep more than English classes,
Yeah.
because then he won't get sick all the time, and he'll grow, and things are going to be good. And she's like, I know, poor guy, but it's just everybody does that. So
right.
they think that if they don't do that, if they don't have all these extra classes, that their kid will be behind. They think that, yeah. So that's that's my
Your take
take
on
on that, yeah.
We were
Yeah.
told, those who were coming into Taipei City,
Yeah.
those with educational experience were placed here for a reason, because we
Okay.
were told that here parents are more demanding,
Yeah,
because
very, yeah.
you were in the capital, right? So it's we were told there's a lot of demands for things, and you have to keep that in mind. But I don't have a big challenge for parents. I think it's just we were told of a challenge that we would encounter with the students, and I've already seen it with my students.
Okay.
But I think it's also there's a shyness factor with it.
Oh, yeah.
Also because I'm new, right, and I'm a foreigner. But we were told that lots of kids, when you ask them to share their answers out
Oh, yeah.
loud, silence. You can hear crickets.
Yeah.
It's because they're afraid of saying the wrong answer, and then
Yeah.
there's that public humiliation.
Yep.
I faced that a lot with my classroom too back
Okay.
in the States.
Okay.
And I always try to build this warm classroom environment. Like, look,
Okay.
we make mistakes. I constantly make mistakes. I let my students correct me because I'm human.
Yeah.
You correct me, and I'm here to teach you also how to do things right and correct.
Yeah.
So it's trying to get these kids comfortable enough to try to be comfortable with speaking out
Okay.
and talking.
Beautiful.
Right. So it's probably just getting kids helping their kids be comfortable in just speaking out loud and being themselves in the classroom too. Just raising their hand and being okay if they're wrong.
They're they don't want to take the risk usually to be like, if they're wrong, they're going to be like, well, that humiliation publicly. They're like, no, I'll just not.
And not say anything.
As is like the super introverted person, I understand that.
I do too.
I understand that. I'll be like, nah, I'm not going to put my neck out there. So yeah, I get it.
All right.
One more question.
Yeah.
Best city in Texas aside from Houston?
Dang.
Ooh.
Oh, that's easy actually.
Is it?
San Antonio.
San Antonio.
San Antonio. I have to say San Antonio, hands down.
Okay.
Houston has a lot of diversity in terms of its people. Really great cuisine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're the largest
Texas
city.
barbecue is supposed to be like the
thing,
the
right?
barbecue, right, in the world.
Yeah, I hate to admit this, but I don't like Texas barbecue.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Or guacamole, which is kind of crazy. Okay.
There's my Mexican card and my Texan card.
There you
in
go.
one
Wow. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, my students always got mad at me every year for
That's
this.
so funny.
Yeah. San Antonio has amazing sights, amazing history, amazing Tex-Mex food.
Okay.
Literally, the ambiance itself is just amazing. My parents would just go, let's go to San Antonio for the day, for the weekend. Just a quick little day trip.
Beautiful.
And just keep exploring las misiones, just
love it.
having fun as a family. Because we never go out. We never travel.
Because parents are busy. They're working. They're trying to take care of the family.
Always working.
Yeah.
Always working. Yep. Yep, that's it. That's how it is. So yeah.
Cool.
San
Very
Antonio.
cool. San Antonio it is. Anything you want to add before we call it?
Shoot, so much going through my head, but I can't form concrete words. Nothing more than just to thank you for bringing me on here. This has been an amazing opportunity.
My pleasure, yeah.
And I can't wait to see what other amazing things Taipei has to offer.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. You're going to love it. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for watching the podcast. Do not forget to subscribe. If you guys liked it, give us a big thumbs up. And we will see you guys next week. Okay? Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you everybody for watching Eddie's show. We feel only happiness, don't feel any sorrow. Welcome everybody to watch more on his content. Eddie Live Podcast. Eddie Live Podcast.